Brown, and today in Focus on Africa, we will be in Equatorial Guinea, where sex tapes online involving high-ranking politicians is rocking the country. But we're hearing that these tapes are just a smokescreen to hide major political shenanigans.
The vice president 3 weeks ago started to make threats or to announce that there will be restrictions of social media platforms. And then 3 weeks later, we start to see these videos that start to be leaked from somewhere within the justice system of Equatorial Guinea.
People in Equatorial Guinea and anyone who has been targeted by the algorithm that feeds information about sex scandals or politics in Equatorial Guinea has seen this. Explicit videos of a man having sex with scores of women in his office. The videos keep coming. The man is Balthazar Ebang Ngonga, Director General of Equatorial Guinea's National Financial Investigation Agency. He's very well known on the political scene, and so are many of the women caught on camera. The president of the country, Teodoro Obiang Nguema, is his uncle. The vice president has ordered the immediate suspension of any civil servants caught having sex in their departmental offices. Last week, telecoms companies in Equatorial Guinea were ordered to curb pornographic videos on social networks. But there is more to it than meets the eye here. Nsang Christia Esimi Cruz is a human rights activist from Equatorial Guinea. His organization brings together citizens, politicians, and activists fighting against human rights violations and corruption. Here is his take on what's really going on.
I think it's very interesting the way that it is presented, the case. In my view, as an activist of defense of human rights in Equatorial Guinea, it's very interesting how the focus is now on this sex scandal. It is concerning, first of all, in terms of the decay of moral values. It's nothing new per se when you think that we have one of the longest dictatorships that exist. But it is surprising, nonetheless, that all these videos are being leaked. And as well, the society is quite worried in terms of the cultural impact that this is having, as some of the videos, as I'm sure you are aware, shows this gentleman, Balthazar, engaging in these sexual acts with quite close relatives of himself, as well as relative of the president of the regime in Equatorial Guinea.
You've said that these videos are being leaked. Who do you think's leaking them and why?
Well, that's a very interesting question, because Balthazar Ebang Ngonga, the guy that we know as Bello, he was being investigated for embezzlement of more than 2 billion franco cefas, and that's the currency that we use in Central Africa, including in Equatorial Guinea. So, and it's very interesting that once his laptop and his equipment, electronic equipment, were seized for the investigation, so this equipment is within the jurisdiction of the security forces and the people that are investigating his case for embezzlement, is when all these videos start to be leaked into the press. And this is just a few weeks after Teodoro Nguema Obiang Mange, the son of Teodoro Obiang Nguema Mbasogo, the president of Equatorial Guinea. So the vice president 3 weeks ago started to make threats or to announce that there will be restrictions of social media platforms. And then 3 weeks later, we start to see these videos that start to be leaked from somewhere within the justice system of Equatorial Guinea, because it is under their jurisdiction, the laptops. They were confiscated by them.
So are you saying that the vice president wants to restrict access to social media? Why would he want to do that?
Because through social media is how everyone is communicating and is denouncing all the violation of human rights and all the things that are going wrong in Equatorial Guinea. From the lack of rice in the market, rice is kind of the base of our diet. We have shortage of rice at least since July. If I can remember, I was there in August, and as well you couldn't see it anywhere in the markets. The way that we communicate is the people within the the country, they are very afraid of give any alerts. So what they do, they will pass the information to those of us who are in the diaspora, and then through social media we will start to make noise, and the government doesn't like this because everything gets leaked, documents, meetings that they are having, videos of people being tortured. The vice president doesn't like this fact. He announced that this will be restricted.
So do you think that these videos of this high-ranking official having sex with different women in his office is being used as an excuse to shut down the internet because more dangerous political messages are being leaked?
Yes, that's our view as activists. We had cases of corruption that are more important than the one that this gentleman, Baltasar Ebang, was being investigated. We have the vice president, as everyone knows, has been sentenced, suspended sentence in Paris for embezzlement. Same case in USA, same case in Brazil, same in South Africa. And there is another element to this case, and is that in my personal view, what we are seeing is the end of an era, so the end of Teodoro Obiang, the current president of Equatorial Guinea, and then there is a succession. And the internal fighting that we are seeing, this gentleman Baltasar Ebang, his family is part and product of the dictatorship, so they had always been around. The father of Baltasar is one of the strong men in Equatorial Guinea within the intimate circles of Teodoro Obiang, the president. So for the vice president, the son of Teodoro Obiang, it is important to be eliminating either politically or physically anyone that could challenge his succession.
Speaking of intimate, some of the women involved or seen in these videos are also the wives of notable women and apparently the sister of the president as well.
Yeah. So, and this is very interesting because I actually, professionally speaking, so in the UK, I work with sexual exploitation and human trafficking. In many of the videos that I have seen, this is consented sex. My understanding is that they were getting paid for it. All of them are adults. So this is mature women in most of the cases that are engaging in consented sex, and they know that they are being recorded.
So the authorities have suspended officials that were seen having sexual relations in ministries. Do you think that that's a serious move on their part, or is it still part of the attempts to clear out any opposition?
Well, I think it's both. So it's a move to demonstrate that they have a bit of power and to try to reestablish a bit of respect within the institutions. But at the same time, it's as well it's going to be targeted to people or wife or the husbands of those wives that has engaged in this, that they want to kind of put on the shadow.
Right. So there are people right now that are nervously waiting to see whether videos of them having sex might be coming out as well.
Yeah, and my understanding is, and this is kind of hearsay, our understanding is that they are blackmailing people, asking for 10 million francs, so that the videos are not released. So there is a lot of kind of gossip about it that is very difficult for us to know what is truth and not true. There is audios circulating through WhatsApp where you could hear some of the women asking one of the persons within the police that is doing the investigation and that has access to the laptop to please not release this. So you can see that there could be some truth in the fact that there is videos out there of many women that are asking not to release the videos, and as well the husbands paying to make sure that those videos don't come out.
What are people actually saying about this? Because I believe that there's a health aspect of it that people are commenting on as well. Tell us about that.
It's very interesting because there is a law in Equatorial Guinea that if you have HIV or any STIs or STDs and you engage knowingly in unprotected sex, that then you can go to jail for transmitting and allowing to spread the virus. And something very interesting within our culture, polygamy is legal and is accepted and is part of our culture, especially within the Fang people, which is my people, and the same as Baltasar Ebanga and Gonga, and most of the women that are involved there, they will be married to a husband that has more wives. And this is without counting the fact that there is a lot of cheating and infidelity within the marriages. And that they are looking into it. They were looking into testing Baltasar to see if he has any HIV. So if he had HIV, it will have an extra repercussion in terms of the sentencing.
Do you think the situation will change things, will tip the balance in Equatorial Guinea?
No.
Will people decide that we've had enough of this?
No, ideally, with wishful thinking, we would like to see people reacting, and by reacting I don't mean violently, but we would like the society to react and to say that enough is enough. But actually, I think that because there is a balance between the corruption case, the sex scandal, and then the Theodorin is talking about weapons and the army and everything else, the population going to have a lot of fear to try to drive the change.
And San Christian Simi Cruz, a human rights activist from Equatorial Guinea. This is Focus on Africa from the BBC World Service.